All right, now we are officially recording. Welcome to Business Math. It is Tuesday. It is our first online class, and this is week one. So everyone got my email that instructed everyone to breathe and that it will be just fine. Okay, so nobody panic just because it has the word math in it. Because it is fine. This class is not that difficult. The worst thing you can do is get behind. That's really what'll get you wired up. So let's talk about the WebAssign right quick. Okay, and before we even do that, is there anyone here who has any questions or comments? I know Nicole was asking if anyone else had problems with WebAssign. WebAssign, it's different, and I know it can be kind of a pain, but this is Cengage decided to use this as a platform. Oh, it's Gidget's last class. Yay, Gidget. That is awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna look here. I have Gidget, she's on, Natasha's on, Natisha, I have Natasha, Natisha, Nicole, Charlotte, and Carolyn. It's guys, I'm still having a hard time getting over the long weekend. Oh, Nicole's next to the last one. And okay, so I was gonna ask Natasha, says your problem is the only problem is it says assignments you already did are missing. Okay, let me look here. I don't think you're in the right class.
What do you mean?
That may who's
well, because like them classes were dated in May, and I was like, why is this showing up? I've never had this class before, and it was like, I think it was like a May 10th assignment or something, but I never had that class.
okay. Does it still show to be May?
Yeah, the discussion are showing May 10th, May due dates. Sorry, Natasha.
Okay, what were you saying? I'm sorry, Charlotte.
I just checked just before class. In fact, I did my first one, but the due dates for the discussion for weeks 2, 3, and 4 are still showing May due dates.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that's a thing. And let me go check these to see what we got going on here. Yes, they are. And I don't know why. Okay, I could have swore I changed those. Those will be changed by the end of the night. No worries.
Because it was Bob's class.
Actually, it was mine. Actually, it was mine before this. Bob is done teaching math. That is one of the reasons why he wanted me back. Nobody else wants to teach math.
He's such a great guy. I had to blame him.
You know, Bob and I shared an office for a year. Still says your teacher is Bob. It shouldn't. Now, here's going to be kind of the thing. When you go to the homepage, you'll see my name on it. But he's the one that created this class shell in the beginning. So his name is going to be on it in a couple of places that I just can't remove. Because what I did is I took the class, he created it, and then I just changed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this screen here. Okay, so this should be what your class is going to look like, actually more like this. This should be what your class looks like. Should be that picture of me right there. And your instructions for WebAssign.
I've seen all that. I'm able to get in the WebAssign and everything, but just the fact that I was seeing them 3 missing assignments, I'm like, what is this? And why is it saying May 10th?
Okay, yeah, that
When
was
it's,
that was I could have swore I changed those on the discussions. But whatever it is, it's got to be my fault because I'm the only one that could have messed that up. So
okay,
that's on me. But the first discussion is not due until week 2. There's only 3 discussions, week 2, 3, and 4.
okay.
You can go ahead and do it now. We'll cover all that here in a minute. Who is not okay? So Natasha went ahead and did it, which is awesome. Let me
So
look
if it's
at
still saying missing assignment, I can still click on it and still do it,
yeah.
and I'll still get the full credit and everything.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right,
And
just
let
wanted to
me,
make sure.
in fact, I will go ahead and to stop any worries that should be due on the. Okay, so I will go ahead and change that date right now.
Okay.
Oh, it won't let me do that. Let me leave student view. There we go. Now I can edit it. Okay, today is the 5th, correct?
Yes.
So, and it's not due till next week, so it'll be the 17th. Now, it's going to say a 17th date, but that's not actually when the whole thing is due. Remember,
Okay.
the original post is going to be due on Wednesday,
Uh-huh.
and then the peer posts are due on Sunday. And I'm going to show you how I do that as far as grading.
Okay.
So that should, let me see, Natasha's done hers. Charlotte has done hers. So, okay. So on the first one, the date should be changed. That shouldn't be any more problems. Natasha says she worked ahead until July 24th. Assignments, my advice, 24 assignments. My advice in the class is to read your book and you two help. I like Nicole now. She says math isn't all that bad. That's the best I can get so far from any students. She's already predicting a low B. Now, you don't have to have a low B, ladies. You can go back and try it. I believe you get 3 shots at each assignment. So, if you don't like your grade, you can go back and correct what you did wrong. That's one of the things that you get in this class. You don't get it in the old school classes, like when I was taking calculus and linear algebra and all that other fun stuff. That you got a physical book, you wrote it down in pencil on a piece of paper, you turned it in, and then you got what you got. But I guess I went back. I have, how many people do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And I was looking at the people who are in here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 people. I'm missing someone. Gidget's on WebAssign, Natasha, Natisha, Nicole, Charlotte, Carolyn, Gidget, Natisha, Natasha, Nicole. Amy is not on WebAssign yet. So Amy, follow the instructions. If you have any questions, in fact, let's just cover that. We'll cover this for Amy real quick. Now, there is a video. There is a PDF instructions. If you can't get into the PDF instructions, I was having difficulty with that earlier. I don't know if it's just a glitch or if something's not right, but it's just a PDF document. And if you follow it step by step, make sure you use the same email you're signing into Canvas with. If you try to switch up the emails, it will cause you a little bit of pain. And here's the course key right there. Am I still sharing? I'm not sharing my screen, am I? There we go. Okay, so here's the instructions. Let me know if you have a problem with this PDF. There's also a video right here. And then here is your course key. All right. And
When is the last day of this class?
Last day of this class is, let me grab my folder here. I've got it. Last day of class is, that is business communication. There we go. Here it is. It runs from July 4th, which was yesterday, till July 31st.
Okay, thank you.
So just 4 quick weeks. So nobody's panicking over math, I assume. We should be good there. Now here's, I go through this. How much time we got? Okay, we've got a little bit of time. First thing I do is I go through this nice little "21 Study Tips for Success" online classes. Some of you have already been through this, so you know what works for you. But and there's nothing on this article that you don't already know. It just sometimes helps to, sorry, I'm distracting myself here trying to get everything where I want it. It just helps for somebody to put that in, in front of you and say, hey, these are things you already know, but let's kind of condense it here and remind you of what you should be doing. Okay, set a major goal. If you're in school, you've already done that. Treat studying like a job. And I always tell the story of my friend who I went to high school, graduated high school with back in the late 1800s. And he's a Fort Worth fireman. He's a captain now. And one of his secrets of success is when it was time to study for a promotion exam, he treated studying just like a job. That was what he did. And he would block off these pieces of time, and that's what he dedicated himself to. And he was really serious about it. And that's hard to do. Now there is and I usually put this YouTube video. I know I'm skipping around, guys, sorry. On the homepage, I don't know why it's not on there now. I may have just forgot to put it on this one. So I'm going to find it so when I want it. Doggone. I think it's on. All right, well, I will find it here on one of the other classes. So let's get through this. I know I'm skipping around. I was up way too late last night with the grandkids and fireworks. So manage your time carefully. Time is one of the only currencies that, we have complete control over, or not even complete control over, but, that we have some measure of control over. And we really need to manage it carefully. I know it's difficult. Most of us have spouses or kids or parents or whoever else, and maybe some of you are like me. I'm part of this sandwich generation where I do have grown children who still depend on me. I have grandchildren, but I'm also sandwiched between, my mother, who is getting up in years, who needs me to help her out a lot. And so I'm kind of stuck in the middle between my children and, my aging mom. And, when you have a 71-year-old widow who needs your help, you have to dedicate time to that. So I have to manage my time, because if I don't, and things get out of hand, it becomes a real issue. Have dedicated study blocks. And I do that even now with things like grading and getting classes set up. The reason these classes are, get just right there with me. It's tough. Is because the class schedule got changed and I had some class another class thrown on me at the last minute, and so it kind of messed up my schedule, and that's what happens. So, and what I do is I know what I should be doing Monday week 1, Tuesday week 1, Monday week 2, Tuesday week 2, and on and on and on and on, and the tests I have to do, and I block that off. And there's going to be one down here later that says reward yourself. So I'll say, hey, I'm going to dedicate this next hour to grading discussion questions. Once that's done, I'm gonna reward myself one way or the other, whether it's 10 minutes on Facebook or going down to the machine and getting some candy bar, something that's bad for me, but or just watching TV for a half hour, just something that makes it worth my while. Find a quiet space and eliminate distractions. Now, it depends on what quiet and distractions mean to you. I always have something running in the background. A lot of people like music. I usually have, my guilty pleasure is Harry Potter. So if anybody any Harry Potter fans here, I'll have a Harry Potter movie playing on one of my screens in the background because I've seen them a million times and it's just background noise. And for some reason that helps me concentrate as well. So I make sure I don't turn on something new on Netflix that I want to watch, then it'll pull my attention away. So I'm kind of playing a game with myself there. So I don't feel like I'm just, boxed in. Limit social media. It's really easy to get on, Facebook or Insta or something. And we'll look at this video and we'll understand why. The video I'm going to show you tells you why things are happening. It doesn't give you a solution, just gives you insights into why some people or everybody does things the way they do them when it comes to sitting down and trying to get things done. Break down the tasks, which is the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You need to break down these bigger tasks into smaller tasks. I know it seems a little silly, but it is easier to do 6 10-minute tasks than it is 1 60-minute task. It just is. So if you can break that up into pieces where you can do 10 or 15 minutes worth, and you get up and you walk around and go get yourself something to drink and come back and do the next section. And then and you have these little blocks where you have accomplishments along the way. It just makes it help be mentally engaged. And it's difficult when you got kids running around or the significant other calling you, wondering, what do you want for dinner? Or, let me tell you about my day. Take notes, browse intelligently, make studying enjoyable, do take breaks. You're only going to be able to hold I can only hold someone's attention in class at face to face for 45 minutes to an hour if I'm really on my game. And that's about what you can hold your own attention for till you have to take a break. Stay healthy. You can't concentrate if you don't feel good. Connect with others and join a study team. I know there's only 11 of you, and I know it's difficult because we do this by Zoom, but if you can find a like-minded person in this class and help each other through it, 2, 3, 4 brains are way better than one, and that's in any class. And I said, that's how I got through Calc 1, 2, linear algebra, statistics, statics, all these other heavy-duty classes, all my bond valuation classes and all these other things I took for my undergrad. Study groups were a part of life, or necessary, because sometimes you just didn't get it and you needed a different point of view. Ask questions. I am available for questions. Make sure you ask me questions. I will try my best. I make my, if you need to have a Zoom call, phone call, whatever, I will make myself available. Just get a hold of me and I'll show you how to get a hold of me here in just a minute. And then try to beat your deadlines. If the homework's due at 11:59, don't go starting it at 10:30 that night. That is going to really, many people, pull it off. But eventually you're not going to be able to. And I know there's always one or two people in the class who like to not even start till like week 3. And then they like to zoom through everything. That's fine. And some people can accomplish that, but eventually something happens. Your kid gets sick, you get sick, car breaks down, air conditioner goes out, internet doesn't work. There's a death in a family, whatever, all the bad things that can take you away from this. And it makes it 10 times worse when you're on a deadline, because then you have whatever stressor that is, your 8-year-old throwing up, and then you've got work due and you can't get to it. It just becomes this huge stressor that just bears down on you. And I am speaking from experience because I am an expert procrastinator. And so I fight that fight every day. And then, like I said, I think I said it earlier, reward yourself. That is always a good thing. Now I'm going to go to another class here real quick where I do have the video. This is a cool, I say cool. This video is, here's why it's so bloody hard to sit down and get work done. Like I said, it doesn't give you, let me make sure, stop it. And make sure everybody can hear this. Could you guys hear the video? Do I need to change the settings at all? This particular fella, his name is, he's Dr. Jordan Peterson. He is a professor from University of Colorado. You can hear it, okay. From University of Toronto. He's very Canadian. So I don't remember if this video, but if you watch any more of his stuff, you hear him say a boot. And I think it's hilarious for some reason because I'm weird like that. A very engaging, smart guy who, like I said, in this particular instant, kind of gives an insight into why we have a hard time sitting down and getting things done. Doesn't give you an answer on how to fix it, but I think part of being able to fix something is just knowing that it exists. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video real quick.
But the young men really need to hear this more, I think. You should be, your attention, for example, is mediated by unconscious forces. And you know that perfectly well. And this is another Freudian observation. If you're sitting down to study, for example, your conscious intent is to study, but you know perfectly well that all sorts of distraction fantasies are going to enter the theater of your imagination non-stop and annoyingly, and there isn't really a lot you can do about that except maybe wait it out. So you'll be sitting there reading and your attention will flicker away. You'll think about, I don't know, maybe you want to watch Jane the Virgin on Netflix or something like that, or maybe it's time to have a peanut butter sandwich, or you should get the dust bunnies out from underneath the bed, or it's time to go outside and have a cigarette, or maybe it's time for a cup of coffee, or it's like all these subsystems in you that would like something aren't very happy just to sit there while you read this thing that you're actually bored by, and so they pop up and try to take control of your perceptions and your actions non-stop. Maybe you think, well, this is a stupid course anyways, why do I have to read this damn paper, and what am I doing in university?
Is anyone else having a problem with the volume? I want to see if it's my volume or if it's maybe her connection. A little? Okay. All right, let's see if we can, let me see if I can get some closed captioning, maybe that'll help. I'm gonna back up just a little bit. And yes, I know this is a little dated because he said Jane the Virgin. I don't know if that's even a show anymore.
Virgin on Netflix or something like that, or maybe it's time to have a peanut butter sandwich, or you should get the dust bunnies from out from underneath the bed, or it's time to go outside and have a cigarette, or maybe it's time for a cup of coffee, or it's like all these subsystems in you that would like something aren't very happy just to sit there while you read this thing that you're actually bored by, and so they pop up and try to take control of your perceptions and your actions nonstop. Maybe you think, well, this is a stupid course anyways. Why do I have to read this damn paper? And what am I doing in university? And what's the point of life? It's like you can really get going if you're trying to avoid doing your homework. And then you might think, well, what is it in you that's trying to avoid? Because after all, you took the damn course and you told yourself to sit down. Why don't you listen? Well, because you're a mess. That's basically why. You haven't got control over yourself at all. And no more than I have control over this laptop. Okay, so there's the memory function of the unconscious, and there's the dissolutive function. That's an interesting one. The unconscious contains habits, once voluntary, now automatized, and dissociated elements of the personality, which may lead a parasitic existence. That's an interesting one. I would relate that more to procedural memory. You know, so what you've done is practice certain habits, whatever they might be. Let's call them bad habits. And you'd like those things to get under control, but you can't. So maybe when you're speaking, for example, you use like and you know, and you say a lot. And you've practiced that, so you're really good at it. And you'd like to stop it, but you don't get to, because you've built that little machine right into your being, right? It's neurologically wired, and it's not under conscious control. And anything you practice becomes that. It becomes part of you, and that's another element of the unconscious, a different part. And then there's a creative part, which is that, well, you know, you're sitting around and maybe you're trying to write something, or maybe you want to produce a piece of art or a piece of music, or maybe you're just laying in bed dreaming, and you have all these weird ideas, and especially in dreams, it's like, where do those things come from? And even more strange, one of the things that's really weird about dreams, and almost impossibly weird, is that you're an observer in the dream. It's like a dream is something that happens to you. Well, you're dreaming it, theoretically, so how is it that you can be an observer? It's almost like you're watching a video game or a movie, but you're producing it, at least in principle, although the psychoanalysts would say, well, no, not exactly. Your ego isn't producing it. Your unconscious is producing it. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. And of course, Jung would say, well, it's deeper than that. The collective unconscious might be producing it. It's in some sense, it isn't you exactly, or it isn't the you that you think of when you think of you. And that's the ego from the Freudian perspective, the you that you identify with. That's the ego. And outside of that is the unconscious. The id, that's more the place of impulses. And you could think about those as the biological subsystems that can derail your thinking, right? And that govern things like hunger and sex and aggression and your basic instincts is another way of putting it. And it's a reasonable way of thinking about it, because these are subsystems that you share with animals. You share them certainly with mammals. You share most of them with reptiles. You share a lot of them with amphibians, and even going all the way down to crustaceans. There's commonality, for example, in the dominance hierarchy circuits. And so these are very, very old things. And the idea that you're in control of them is, well, you're not exactly in control of them. And I would say the less integrated you are, the less you're in control of them, and the more they're in control of you. And that can get really out of hand, you know. You can be, like with people who have obsessive compulsive disorder, for example, which seems to be, I would say, the dissolutive elements in some sense of the unconscious, the way that it's portrayed here. Poor people with obsessive compulsive disorder, they can spend half their time doing things that they can't really control, and they have very strong impulses to do them, and it's very hard on them to block them. You know, they'll almost panic if those things are blocked. And then you have people with Tourette's syndrome, you know, that they'll be doing all sorts of weird dances and spouting off obscenities and imitating people without being able to control it, and sometimes a little bit of antipsychotic medication can dampen that down, but it's as if there are these autonomous semi-spirits inside of them that grip control over their behavior and make them do things. And you know, you find that to some degree in your own life, because maybe you've become very attracted to someone, even maybe you don't want to be attracted to the person, and then you find yourself, you know, texting them when you know perfectly well that you should be going to bed, and you know, you're in a grip of something, and you can't control it, and that's all part of the unconscious and all part of what Freud was studying.
Okay. So anyway, that doesn't give us any answers, but I just like the insight about, you know, how you're just completely, you know, many times you're just bombarded. Yeah, Charlotte said it's powerful. The guy's good. The guy is good, and he has hundreds of hours from all the way back then, which that's an older video to present day of really good stuff. If anybody, and I'm not a huge religious person, but he does a series on the Bible that he takes it from because he's a clinical psychologist, from a clinical psychologist level. That's super interesting. And she needs help with chapter 1 quiz, question 14 and 15. Tell you what, Gidget, you give me 3 to 5 more minutes so I can talk about late work, and then that is where we'll jump off. Is everybody okay with that being a jumping off point tonight? Or is anybody not okay? I guess that's an easier question. Is anybody not okay with it? And if anybody else has some they need to, just so you know, I do start the class. I start the Zoom meeting about 15 minutes early, just in case anybody has any questions. And I made this class from 7:30 to 8:30. I put the other class from 6 to 7 because many times in this class, people like to stay late and like to give them as much time as they need. And if I put this class first, you'd only have a half hour of extra help if you needed it. So this way, you know, I know it's a little bit later, but it helps out. So real quick, oh, I can see what I'm showing you here. Assignments. Okay, so attendance and participation grade. It's only worth 10% of your grade. So if you don't do anything on this attendance and participation, it will only hurt you by 1 letter grade. So it gives you motivation, but it's not such a stiff penalty. Excuse me. But this is how I do it. The online class is worth 10 points a week. If you don't show up and you do the, let me just pull this up, and you do the video summary, then you get your 10 points, okay? Every assignment due that week, if it is turned in on time, is worth 10 points. So if it's due on Wednesday and you turn it in before Wednesday, you get the 10 points. That's all that's good for. If you turn it on Thursday, you don't get the 10 points, all right? And so that comes into 70 points a week. So that keeps me from having to go into your late work every assignment and gigging you on late work. I was trying to find a way to motivate people to get their stuff in on time, but I also didn't want to hurt someone really, really bad in their grade because, you know, they had issues with turning stuff in on time. So I'm trying, this is kind of a balancing act. This is the 2nd class I'm using it in. Actually the 3rd class, we count the other one I'm teaching. So, and I'm trying to find a balancing act here. But because also, just so you know, absolutely, if you need an extension, now you get the on time points, but you'll get full credit for the assignment itself, if that makes sense, Natasha, because she asked, will you work with us? Okay. If you need an extension, I believe I put that in the email. I don't care why the extension, you can be as honest as you want. The honesty factor is so I can keep track of what's going on. And if I see a reoccurring theme with people needing more time, then maybe it's something I can address it may or may not be something I can address beforehand on the next class. Yes, and yes, I remember Natasha saying your grandmother was in ICU, and I hate that, and I get that. You know, I went through that with my dad when he was sick, and you know, he had his good days and bad days, and it's just, you know, and just do your best. Keep me I'll go with COVID. That COVID's a son of a gun. So if you need, you just keep in touch with me, let me know. And that's for everybody. The worst thing you can do is ghost me. And she has a car problems. Look, we just need to just do a GoFundMe or something for Natasha here and help her out, because this is, you're like, but you know what? And that's just how it works. It just falls down on you, and that's, it sucks. But like I said, just stay in touch. And like I tell everybody, ghosting me is just the worst thing you can do. Just dropping off the face of the earth. New job and took a nice rock. Yeah. You are going to have a fun month, Natasha, but you got this. So that's how we do the on-time work. And that's, like I said, it's only worth 10% of your total grade in the end. So if you get half, you know, so it's worth 10 points on your final grade. But if you do 75% on time, you get 7.5 out of the 10 points. So it doesn't kill you. Because I've had professors, it was in my, what class was that? And I'm getting sidetracked here. Risk management. It was my risk management class, is a 4,000 level finance class. And this guy, we started out with like 30 students in the class, and there were 9 of us left at the end. It was like his entire life's work was to see how many of us he could get the hell out of there. Oh yeah, it was a rough class. It was a rough class. It was, he would have the marker in one hand, and he would have a eraser in the other, and he would just go through these long calculations, yada 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 yada. Everybody got that? Whoosh. I mean, you would leave his class wanting to sob uncontrollably. And I'm no sissy, but he almost emotionally broke me. I mean, it was, and I believe I had a 59 in the class, and by the time he curved it, that was high B. I mean, we're talking, this is the real deal, guys. And I didn't have too many of those, but you have some of those. You won't have them here, but as we go on. So let's get to, I think that's everything. Does anybody have any questions on how the class works, WebAssign, anything else before we move on? All right, well, let's get to, where are we at? Sometimes I forget how to work WebAssign because it's different, but I will get us there eventually. All right, and you said, now also use a calculator, for God's sakes, people. Gosh, you have one on your computer, you have one on your phone, and you also have like a spreadsheet function if you want to. Please, for God's sakes, it's not cheating. Use the calculator. All right. So this is, let me go back here.
It's the chapter 1 quiz.
Chapter
Question
1 quiz
14.
number 14 and 15. Gotcha. Chapter 1 quiz. Let's view this. Excel is my friend. Let me stop sharing this, and I'm going to go ahead and share this one here. All right, so, and 14 and 15, let's look at those. Okay, so 14. Estimate the following by rounding each number to hundreds, then divide to get the exact answer. All right. I'm going to pull up my whiteboard here.
My question's different.
It might be who asked for this help anyway? I got to remember.
I did, Gidget.
Gidget, okay. What is your question, Gidget? What
It's the
question
same thing, but the number is 1491 divided by 590.
Okay, yeah. And that's what's going to happen is they mix it up. So when I do this, you're not going to get the exact same numbers. Okay, so let me share my whiteboard here. Okay, so what were your numbers again, Gidget?
1491 divided by 590.
Okay, everybody can see that, right? Okay, and it says estimate the following by rounding each number to the hundreds place. Okay, so remember ones, tens, hundreds. That's what we're going to round to. Ones, tens, hundreds. We're going to round to this one right here. Okay, so I look to the number to the right. If it is 5 or greater, I add 1 to this 4. If it's not greater, it's not 5 or greater, then you leave it alone. So that becomes 1500 divided by 600. All right. And so that will be,
It's 2.5, but when you put it on there, it counts it wrong.
they don't want 2.5. If you notice, they want a remainder. So let's do this the long way.
Put 2 remainder 5.
It's not remainder 5. And I'll show you here. Doggone it. 1500 divided by 600. Now, a little trick here. Well, we won't even do that because I don't want to mess you guys up. Okay, so 600 will go into 1500 2 times. We already agreed that. That's 1200. Leaves me 300 left over. So my remainder is 300. My remainder is not 5. Does that make sense?
Yes, but when you were in the assignments, when you're working them, you can put your remainder as the 5 and not the 300. Because they want you to keep working it.
Gidget, when you do it on the calculator, it's giving you a decimal, and what they want is the actual number that the decimal represents.
There you go. Yep. Yep. It's not looking for the 5. It's looking for the remainder of 300. Because where you get the 5 from, and let's go ahead and work this out. Because this is what the calculator is giving you. And you're not going to use remainders very much after this. 2, 1200, 300 left over. 600 will not, okay, there we put a decimal point here. 600 will not go into 300 evenly. Okay. So, and there are some understood zeros here. Bring that 0 down. 600 will go into 3000 5 times. That's how you get 2.5. But what they're looking for is this actual number remainder, not that. We'll get to this later, but that's when they ask for a remainder, they're actually looking for how many's left over. Consider it like this. Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
I won't beat it up then.
And then on 15, I've got it all the way up to D.
15. All right, let's go through yours here. You're the owner of a flooring company. Todd and Claudia have asked you to give them an estimate for tiling 4 rooms into their house. The living room is 15 feet by 21 feet. And the first thing I do is I just start writing down here. Okay, the dining room is 13 by 18. Kitchen is 9 by 13. If you know, I have a tendency to go ahead and do things a long way, write stuff down that may not even matter to me later. but I just want to get my facts straight before I even start. And the study is 10 by 15. Okay, how many square feet of tile are required for each room? Okay, so did you say you got all that?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
So you just
350. I can give you the numbers if it helps.
all right, that's 315
Or 360 I meant.
or oh, I was reading off the other one.
Oh yeah, this is different. Okay, come on.
Yeah, sorry. So and then this was 13 by 18, which is 234. And this is in feet squared. And you can also write it in square feet. Doesn't really matter when you actually write this stuff out. If you've ever done any construction, this one's 117. And 150. And then you get those just by multiplying those two numbers together to get your square footage. Okay, that is what is the total number of square feet to be tiled? Okay, so we're just going to add all these together, right? 5, 9, that's 16. 6, 9, 10, 11. And what's that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 816 square feet. That's where that number from. If the tile in the kitchen and the study costs $4 per square foot and the tile for the living room. Okay, so kitchen and study is $4 per square foot. And then the tile for the living room costs $3. Okay, if the tile for the kitchen and study costs $4 per square foot and tile for the living room and dining room cost $3 per first foot, living room and dining room, $3 per square foot. What is the total cost of the tile? All right. Well, I'm going to take, and there's a few ways to do this. The easiest way I would do it is I would take and figure out the living room and dining room, okay, is 315 plus 234 to get my total square feet. That's 549. And then I would just multiply that. And I'm going to use X here, but we're going to get rid of using X for multiplication at some point. Pretty quick. Multiply that times 3, right? And and that's going to give you, what's it? 7, 2, 12, 14. Okay. That's $1,647 living room and dining room. And I'm going to do the same calculation for the kitchen and study, which is 117 square feet and 150 square feet. It's 267 square feet. And I'm going to multiply that times the $4 number. Be 1,068. So I've got 1,068 here. I'm going to add that to, and hopefully I got it right and I don't look like a dum-dum, $2,715. Okay. Now, if we charge $2 a square foot to tile it, we know we have 816 square feet. And so just to tile it is going to be what, $1,632? But we have to add that here, which should be $4,347. Okay, so there's that.
Okay, that's where I was at, but I got stuck when you come up with the answer for C. So you take that number times what?
Which one? Which one are you asking about? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out the answer for D, where you
D.
add the ×2.
Right. You take the entire size of the job, which is 816 square feet for us, multiply it times $2, and that gives you your $1,632. And you have to add that cost of labor into the cost of the tile. So because we had the $2,715 for the tile, we add the cost of labor to it, and that gives you the cost of the whole job.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to go, I can do a little cheat here. Maybe if I can get to the right spot. Go to, and this is Gidget. No, not that button. Gidget, there we go. And chapter 1 quiz. Let me look at your responses. So on your answers for like C, you got $2,886 dollars, and for D, what did you get, Gidget?
Just a second. I think I finally got it figured out,
Okay.
but it takes a second. Yeah, I've got it figured out. It would have been 4,000 or yeah, $4,626.
Yep.
And
You're
then I
right
would
on
have been
it.
over at the 374. See, when I tried the square footage times the 2 and added it in, it wouldn't take it the first time, but I think my number may have been off.
Okay. Okay. So everybody, stop that there. Everybody fine with that answer? Okay. So any other issues that anyone else have had, any other problems they want looked at? Because that's the fun stuff. I could do that all day. Well, it's fun for me. Boring as heck for you guys, but all right. So the silence tells me everybody is good. I have a loose cable going to my second monitor, and if I just tap it, my monitor goes out. So give me a second here, ladies. I need to fix that. There we go. All right, Charlotte says she's good. Okay. We've got 6 official minutes left. I don't mind shutting it down early unless anybody has any question. That's what I'm here for. All right, well, I am going to go ahead and let we will cut this off about 5 minutes early. So I'm going to officially stop the recording.